dry. Better Cool works fast to relieve acidity, heartburn, and indigestion. Trust Better Cool. Enjoy life. If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
A very good evening to you tuned into UBC TV. Welcome to News Tonight. My name is Michael Jordan Lukomwa with Muhammad Mugalu, our sign language interpreter. We'll have a look at the headlines as we start. The Capital City Authority starts relocating taxis from the old taxi park. 8 suspected kidnappers of an American tourist, Kimberly Sue Endekut, are remanded to Luzira. The European Union agrees to delay Brexit until January 31st, while the National Council of Sports and the Uganda Olympic Committee meets boxing stakeholders. News Tonight, thank you so much for tuning in. President Museveni, in a first story, has congratulated Eddy Kenzo, one of Uganda's high-sounding and outgoing personality in the music industry, for making very good achievements in the music and entertainment sector. The president made the remarks yesterday at State House in Entebbe when he met Eddy Kenzo. The Ugandan musician returned home recently from the United States of America, where he won the award of African Entertainer of the Year in the African Entertainment Awards. President Museveni used the occasion of his meeting with musician Kenzo to appeal to the young people in this country to emulate the example of Kenzo to get out of poverty through exploitation of their talents fully. He noted that the musicians have prospered because of performing good entertainment in Uganda, adding that this is possible because the prevailing peace provided by the NRM government. He observed that Uganda is an easy destination for investment in majorly on account of the prevailing peace. President Museveni pledged that to support Eddy Kenzo and other singers the way the NRM government has done for the athletes and footballers on account of their good performance. Eddy Kenzo thanked President Museveni for his support. He presented some of the awards he received to the president for recognition.
He was a street boy, he has just told me. He was an orphan, but he had the talent of music. And he started here in Uganda, singing, making shows, and he got income from that. Then he went abroad and got a clientele there, and he has actually been recognized by well-known groups in the world like BET and other renowned international bodies. I congratulate him, and I want to appeal to the youth to use his example to know that you can get out of poverty by using your talents. If you are not a singer, you can do it in farming, talent, and get out of poverty. Number 3,
His Excellency President Museveni at a meeting with Eddy Kenzo at State House in Entebbe. Kampala Capital City Authority, in other news, has started relocating taxis from the old taxi park and those that have been operating along Benchonika Street and ShopRite to Usafi Taxi Park. Usafi Taxi Park spokesperson Segwanyi Muhammad wants government to ensure that there is no compromise in the execution of this plan.
Confusion and anger can be described this moment as taxi operators of Chibuye, Freedom City, Namasuba and Zana challenge recent developments in their operations. These were allegedly taken out of the park by the court's leadership to operate outside. However, they claim to have gone out because of lack of security in Usafi taxi park. The arrangement to return taxis of Makindi and Salama stage that have been operating outside the parks to Old Taxi Park has not pleased the operators in Usafi, who have vowed to fight this move. This latest move has caught some upcountry passengers by surprise.
Some changes in the town, what I never expected. We were normally I knew the Entebbe Park is in the town, Old Park. I came while knowing it's there. So when I reached down, I was directed, go this way, go this way, go this way. So I found a little bit hardship.
Despite the fears expressed by the passengers, the Usafi Taxi Park spokesperson is optimistic business will stabilize.
Abantu mukatale bakomyewo embeero giraba nnungi twagala okuwoola abasuubuzi nti bonna bakomewo ku midaala gyabwe tusobole okubeera nga tukola mu mbeera eyeyagaza ate.
Meanwhile, Ibrahim Damulira, the leader of Usafi Market, has warned those who left their stalls and lockups to operate business on the streets that their places will be given out. This plan was passed by Kampala Capital City Authority early last week in preparation for the construction of a flyover at Clock Tower. It involves decongesting streets of vehicles, vendors, and creating a one-way. I'm Nafka Farida and Ivan Joko reporting in Kampala.
8 gunmen suspected to have kidnapped an American tourist, Kimberly Sue Endicott, and a guide in Queen Elizabeth National Park some time ago have been remanded to Luzira till the 5th of November. Kanungu Grade 1 Magistrate Andrew Katurubuki cautioned them not to plead because the case is triable only by the High Court.
Eight gunmen alleged to have kidnapped an American tourist, Kimberly Sue Endicott, arrived at Kanungu Magistrates Court under tight security. The suspects, who turned up for mention of the case, committed the offense early this year near Nyamenje at the Uganda-Congo border. Kanungu Grade 1 Magistrate remanded the 8 to Luzira prisons till 5th November.
So, you are remanded till 5th November for mention.
The 8, Mugabe Yoweri, Tumwebaze Hakim, Kananura Mathias, Manguha Adam, Charisima Deus, Akankwasa Joram, and Biaruhanga Onesimus are all residents of Kanungu district. Relatives converged at court to witness the trial.
Away from Kasese, Uganda Red Cross Society has started training volunteers on handling and burial of Ebola-affected victims in Kisoro district. Dr. Joseph Kasumba, the UN representative, says that the training is intended to equip people in the neighboring districts of the Democratic Republic of Congo following increased cases of Ebola in that country.
The Democratic Republic of Congo has registered several cases of Ebola in the recent past that also left many people dead. This did not spare Uganda's neighboring districts like Chisoro.
Fatality rate is around, it is over 65%. So, which means the people who have died are out of 100 people who contracted this disease in Congo, the current outbreak. At least 65 people died.
To avert the calamity, however, Uganda Red Cross has started sensitizing people on how to bury Ebola victims in the neighboring districts.
Today we are in Soro because Soro is one of the districts that are on border with Congo, and so we would like to have them prepared just in case of any cases or any uncertainties. We can be able to respond.
The training is intended to equip people on how to guard themselves against getting into contact with Ebola-affected persons.
We are having this as part of the preparedness, that it is very costly to respond than to prepare. So we want to cut those costs of response by preparing very well.
Chisoro district residents appreciated the move. Ebola broke out in DRC and was pronounced an emergency in August in 2017, claiming lives of hundreds of Congolese. Ebola is also said to be caused by wild bats, baboons, and can spread through body fluid.
Judith Oby Okumu, a renowned author, has published a book highlighting the journey that saw an end to the LRA war in northern Uganda. The book, titled 14 Days with Joseph Kony, The Hidden Heroes, talks about how she traveled all the way to Ngaramba Forest with Joseph Kony's mother to hold peace talks with him in 2007. Judith said that the 14 days of her journey managed to soften Joseph Kony's heart following the words his mother told him. The book, set to be launched on the 25th of November, also highlights key people who mediated in the peace talks.
I think that the peace that is there, we always take it for granted. Now, this book is going to show the people that actually Kony is real, and Kony is there. And it is also going to bring out the efforts of government that government has put in relation to the peace that now reigns in the north. And it is going to bring it it brings a point of appreciation of what government has done to ensure that the people of northern Uganda get peace, just like the people of any other part of Uganda. On the 13th day, came stoutly and told Kony to stop fighting. How did she do that? This is how she went. Kony, I have come here to tell you to stop fighting. I have come here to tell you to stop fighting. Kony, stop fighting and stop war on Uganda. President Museveni is a good man. President Museveni has taken care of me, Nora Anek. He has also buried your father. Museveni is not a bad person. You stop fighting so that the people of northern Uganda can have peace. Today I come here to stop you from fighting. That's what Kony's mother told Kony. Then Kony replied and said, Kony was actually replying to me. He was always referencing to Judith because I think he was looking at me as somebody who would relay his message to the President of the Republic of Uganda. Kony first thanked the President, President Museveni, for taking care of his family. He also thanked President Museveni for burying his father, because at the time President Museveni had buried his father, taken care of burying the father. And then Kony said, Judith, you have brought my mother up to me here in Garamba, and she has told me to stop fighting. Me, Kony, from today, I will never shoot a gun towards Uganda.
Judith Okumu, the lady that had that straight from the man himself, Joseph Kony. Moving on, the increased number of South Sudan refugees in Uganda has been attributed to delayed implementation of the peace agreement between the country's warring factions. State Minister for Disaster Preparedness and Refugees Musa Icheru underscores the need for a collective responsibility in addressing the refugee challenge. This was said during a high-level consultation meeting on refugee response, where diplomats urged government to expedite the process of bringing refugee fraud culprits to book.
When the two differing leaders of South Sudan agreed to a peace accord, it was aimed at ending tensions and bringing calm to the world's youngest nation. Their subsequent visit to the Vatican raised more hopes towards ending the fighting amongst their natives. However, several months later, the delayed implementation of the peace agreement continues to raise dust.
When we thought the situation in South Sudan after the signing of the peace accord was going to immediately result into return of dignified voluntary return of the South Sudanese refugees into their homeland, the unfortunate development is that the implementation seems to be dragging, and while that is happening, there is still more refugees trickling into the country.
The number of refugees has been increasing over time, with current figures estimated at 1.3 million, majority of who are from South Sudan.
To us, as a leadership that manages refugees, it's a big concern. But we are sure that the leaders of this country, particularly His Excellency the President and his partners, are doing whatever it takes to make sure that the peace accord is implemented. And our hope is that one day peace returns to South Sudan so that these people can be facilitated to go back home in dignity.
But to what extent is the absence of war a guarantee for peace? This is one question that Charles Nsenga, a Congolese refugee, poses and answers.
Because we may find even the war stopped, but the robbery, murders are being done. So it is not easy.
It is not clear how many refugees share this point of view. But what is clear is that refugee influx in Uganda remains a reality. This is the reason why the diplomatic community in Uganda wants more transparency in the management of refugee affairs in the country.
This is not the way to go. You want to give a shining example on how Africans care for their brothers and sisters a few weeks from now, and it should be shining. It should not be tarnished by leftovers from events that we all want to turn the page on. So please include us in this determination. We want this to go away now.
All this was raised during a high-level consultation meeting on refugee response in Uganda, where diplomats affirmed support towards the cause.
It's absolutely critical that recent OPM directives to staff in the field on enhanced security screening be properly implemented so as to maintain, in practice, to maintain Uganda's asylum open door.
I think it's incumbent upon us, in particular the political actors, to find a way that find peace, basically, that will, lead to a substantial return, a voluntary return of refugees.
We will continue to support advocacy for both humanitarian development investments in these communities. I would like to also use the opportunity to note the Solidarity Summit was a branding moment of what we considered a good practice. Since the summit, the number and scale of support has increased.
Currently, about 7.8 million people across the world are living as refugees, which makes remedies to the challenge more than needed. This is why a global refugee forum has been organized in Geneva, in Switzerland, to enable stakeholders evaluate implementation of commitments of the Global Compact on Refugees. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Title for our discussion.
Thank you so much, Henry Okrut. At this point, let's take a very short break. We have business, international, and sports that you do not have to miss.
Set target, dial star 162 hash. Get 100% on data and bonus. Win instantly with Mega Master Pay. Just recharge and hit your target. Katiricha wati
Mega Master Pay from Airtel is back, and everyone, we mean everyone, gets a bonus. All you have to do, check your target, recharge, get 100% bonus on data and minutes. Dial star 162 hash today to know your target. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Mommy, you can't touch it. You can't touch it. Daddy, what's wrong?
I've had a long day, Angel, and I have a bad headache.
Oh, I'll give you something that will make you feel better if you promise to play with us.
Headache? toothache? Unapoumwa, unataka kitulizo kwa haraka gani? Mara moja. Pain and Fever Reliever. A quality product from Beta Healthcare, contains paracetamol, caffeine and aspirin. Beta Healthcare, caring for all. If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
The Parliament of Uganda will hold the third annual Legislature Sector Review Retreat under the theme Legislating for Good Governance and Sustainable Development. This is in line with the National Development Plan (NDP2) implementation framework, which requires each sector to carry out a review of its performance in each financial year and to plan for the following year. Additionally, the Parliament will also review the recommended benchmarks of the Commonwealth Programme for Democracy (CP4D) for incorporation in the wider sector review process. All parliamentary commissioners, committee chairpersons and vice chairpersons, party whips, chairpersons of parliamentary fora and representatives from the media, academia, CSOs, private sector and other MDAs are invited to attend the retreat on Wednesday 30th October to Friday 1st November 2019 at Hotel Africana starting at 8 a.m. Please note that attendance is by invitation only. Signed, Clerk to Parliament.
We're coming to you live from Butekanga in Kamuli district.
In the sub-county where I come from, where my leadership is being practiced, money is really a big problem that is hindering women to join leadership.
And in case you didn't know, Fasi Fasi is a show intended to make way for women in the leadership sphere. How can we create a space where someone who does not have 20 million shillings but has the ideas can become a leader in our community?
Did you know that the journey to becoming a politician is very costly, especially for women in rural areas like Kamuli, where the main source of income is subsistence farming? Going by numbers, money seems to be a critical factor in joining the political race.
And ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's make way and make some noise.
The Uganda Registration Services Bureau, that is now in business, and Stanbic Bank have partnered to provide access to digital platforms by the URSP subscribers to Stanbic Bank services. These two bodies are to integrate ICT systems and provide timely digital solutions to their clients. Bemanya Twebaze, Registrar General URSB, says that this is one of the strategic and innovative ways to add value to service provision.
Most of the times you find me and my colleagues going to your bank, you come for salary loans. But those Chikubo people you see down there every evening, they are carrying Bugera, actually banking money. They have huge amounts of money. And what we've done as Uganda Registration Services Bureau is that we have formalized most of those businesses you think are Chikubo people. When you go on our register, you'll be amazed that most of them are registered, they have bank accounts, they are transacting in a formal way. What does that mean? What we are doing today is that Kubo person, if tomorrow is going to apply for a loan to import whatever they want to import or do whatever business they need to do, instead of the process delaying, Stanbic Bank will be, after we've leveraged our APIs, we'll be able to get that information instantly, so that instead of this Kubo person waiting the bank for 4 hours, they'll wait for 10 minutes. That's how it benefits.
It's in Chikubo and probably no, but it won't stay like that forever. I think what we're doing here is showing leadership. At the end of the day, even all those small businesses will get to this point of digitizing. Just think about the tax compliance and the issues. Many years ago, they said a lot of businesses, informal businesses, were not tax compliant. If you look at it today, even shopkeepers.
Straight to the world of sport, the Uganda Olympic Committee and National Council of Sports have met the boxing stakeholders for a brief ahead of the forthcoming Olympics qualifier. The meeting aimed at highlighting final and finer details ahead of the Africa Regional Qualifier early next year.
When the International Olympic Committee suspended the Global Amateur Boxing Body (IBA) mandate to ensure boxing as represented at the 2020 Olympics fell to a 5-man task force. The task force includes Uganda Olympic Committee President William Bleak, who has again met and discussed progress with local stakeholders at the MTN Arena Lugogo.
I think the message was very clear today. It was the Olympic pathway for Tokyo 2020. We introduced our partners. We made it clear that it's run under National Council of Sports. Mr. Bosco Nick is the chairperson of the Uganda Boxing Task Force. We'll be working with the Uganda Boxing Federation, headed by Mr. Mohanji, and the Professional Boxing Commission and Association, headed by Salim Uhuru.
The new procedure is non-discriminative and allows both amateur and professional boxers to contest the national qualifiers.
All the boxers came at all levels, countrywide. More could have come, but because of the short notice, they couldn't make it. But we think the message is going to go out, and registration starts tomorrow. We'll just all the boxers that are interested in this championship. Then thereafter, we shall sit with National Council and iron out a process that qualifies someone to the Olympic Games. So this will help us to further, as federation, communicate with our leaders in boxing and other sports for them to better understand how this sport is supposed to be run.
To ensure this selection process for Uganda is secure, National Council of Sports is to play a lead role that they are ready to endure.
The meeting had one major objective, is to share information on the pathway for boxing sports Olympic 2020 qualifiers. To us, the benefit that we think has come out is that the general public and the boxing fraternity has been enlightened and has been informed of the developments that are taking place in the sport of boxing at the local and international level, and at the same time it has paved the pathway for them on how they are able to qualify to play in the Tokyo 2020 Games.
The rules of engagement for Uganda in the pathway are that 8 men and 5 women are entitled national slots to contest the Africa Regional Qualifier in Senegal next year. There will also be another chance later for boxers to pursue Olympics qualification during the World Boxing Championship in Paris, France next year. John Barnes, Sentamo, reporting.
Yes, Daphne Kabasita is ready with an update on the weather forecast. Let us listen to her first.
Started the day with cloudy conditions, with some areas having heavy showers both in the morning and the afternoon, especially the western part of Uganda. Thanks for joining UBC. It's time for the weather update from Uganda National Meteorological Authority, and I'm Daphne Kabasita in Samba. According to a report I received this morning, Lira reported the highest amount of rainfall of 42.4 millimeters, and in Soroti we had 30.7 millimeters. Kabale we had 21.0 millimeters. Checking with the satellite image over Africa, it shows that the rain belt is widely spread over country. That's why most parts of Uganda are having showers. We are expecting to start the day with rainfall in most parts of the country, with thunderstorm both in the morning and also in the afternoon. Temperatures expected to rise to 28 degrees Celsius in the northern part of our country. In our capital city, we're expecting temperatures to rise to 26, and then in Kabale, we're expecting temperatures to rise to 22 degrees Celsius. Going to Nairobi and New York, we're expecting showers with temperatures rising to 24, that is in Nairobi. Dubai, we're expecting sunny conditions with temperatures rising to 30. Paris and London, we're expecting cloudy conditions. That's what we had in our store. For more information about weather, don't hesitate to click on our website. Have a blessed night.
Much Daphne. Let's now have a look at the headlines once again as we wind up. Kampala Capital City Authority has started relocating taxis from the old taxi park. 8 suspected kidnappers of an American tourist, Kimberly Sue, have been remanded to Luzira prisons. The European Union has agreed to delay Brexit until January 31st, while the National Council of Sports and Uganda Olympic Committee have met the boxing stakeholders. That is what our first edition of News Tonight had for you. Thank you so much for watching. We look forward to give you another big edition at 10 p.m. My name is Michael Jordan Lukumwa with Mohammed Mugalu. Please keep enjoying our next program. Bye-bye for now.